Good morning everyone, it's Carol here at Oak House Journals. Big warm welcome from me as always, thanks for joining me. I'm going to start this morning with an apology. I did do assignment number 2 yesterday, but unfortunately it didn't load to YouTube properly and I only noticed that this morning. So what I've done is I've reloaded it, so you now have access to assignment 1 and assignment 2 of Margarete Miller's Collage Weekly Challenge of 2024. And if that challenge is new to you, then please look in the description box below this video. So I'm going to do assignment number 3 today, and I've got my prompts here. I'm just going to move those off to one side and bring in the pieces that I've chosen to use for today's challenge. And the first prompt is something you take on a picnic. So normally you would take a drink, whether it's a hot drink or a cold drink, a soft drink or an alcoholic drink. I've got this pretty little label that I was given last year by a friend. I loved it so much that I put it on a piece of business envelope. So I'm going to need to trim that down, but I just thought that was absolutely gorgeous. The second prompt is an image from a magazine. So I was looking for an image of where I would like to have my picnic, and I think this would be, for me, the perfect location. It's obviously on a lake, so there's water. It looks like there's going to be an amazing scenery all around, and there's this lovely backdrop of colours. Now they're autumnal colours, so I'm hoping it's not too cold to have a picnic there, but I thought this would be perfect for prompt number 2. Prompt number 3 is text other than English or your native language. So I've got a page here from a French book and I've got a couple of paragraphs that I can pick out. Prompt number 4 is something torn. Now, I don't know why, given the colours that I've got here, I want to use this, but I do. So I'm thinking that the colour will tie in with one of these, which is another prompt. So I may or may not use this. I don't know. It seems sacrilege to rip it, but if I use it, then I'm going to have to rip it to hit this prompt. If not, then I can use this. Now this is a piece of graph paper and I can use that ripped, and it would fit in with obviously this colour palette and also the autumnal colours that I've got going on there. Prompt number 5, something you would place on a bookshelf. Well, in our house, we have plants on the bookshelf just to break up the look of all the books on there. So I've got this image in a Sarah Midden book, and I'm going to fussy cut out one of these. Now I'm thinking this one would fit the bill, perhaps that one. If I want a smaller one, that one, or even that one. And as I say, it would blend in with this piece of paper if I decide to use that. And finally, the bonus prompt is something found in a school bag. Most children these days do maths of some sort, so I kind of figured that there would be numbers involved in a school bag somehow. So I've got the number 0 there, as you can see. And then school children always seem to have quirky things in their bag. Perhaps now they have things that are more akin to iPads and Pokemon and that sort of thing, but back in my day we would have stones and feathers and things like that. So I've got this gorgeous little feather here in amongst my stash with a little bit of glitz down at the bottom there with some glitter. Again, I love the colours and I thought I would use that on my piece. So for the bonus prompt, I'm going to use both of those. Okay, let's get started and see what I can come up with today. So I'm just going to put these all to one side as I usually do, bring in the paper that I'm going to be working on, prompts in front of me, and let's get cracking. So I'm going to start off with that one and this one, and I'm going to trim my edges so that they are straight. So I've got rid of the rough edges on this one. It is wider than my working area, but I'm not sure which side I want to trim it down on. And I've also trimmed down this label and used the decorative trimmer at the top and the bottom. Because of the autumnal tones round here, I'm thinking that I might move this piece across here and have her on there so that she is picking up those tones, which means that I will cut this down here. But I want to place 1 or 2 other bits before I actually do that, and I don't want this really as a background, so I'm going to just rip out a portion of French text. There we go, so I've got that portion. maybe pop it in there like that. It's very close in colour tone to the background on this wine label here. So I'm going to take that out and I'm going to pop this in. Wondering whether to do something like that. That's brown there and I kind of want to pick up the green, so I'm going to spin this round like that. I'm liking that brown down there better. It's more a grey brown down there. She's got her hand out, so I'm wondering whether to actually have her holding the feather. Break up this expanse up there, maybe move it across. Seems a shame to cover up so much of that, but I don't think I've got a choice. Okay, I've made the decision to use this background, so I am going to trim it down. I'm not getting much play with this colour against the background, which is what I wanted, so I'm going to move her across like that. Shorten this down a little bit. I am liking that now that I'm picking up the darker browns, bronzy colours behind. Okay, I'm not going to use this portion. This would detract too much if I had this ripped and in the background, although I did actually like the numbers. I'm wondering whether I could have them peeking out the side. No, I actually like that better than I like this. So I'm going to rip those numbers and have that in there. I could have a portion down in there. This feather feels a little bit large, unfortunately. It's a shame because it would have been nice for it to be in her hand. As you can see, I've done a little bit of playing with this one. I have changed the position of this handwritten text and I've taken out this piece and put the smaller piece in there. Now I've got a piece peeping out the bottom there. I'd rip that off so that wouldn't be seen. I quite like having the 0 up there. The whole thing needs to come down because I've got too much. I've probably got about 2.5 centimetres there and less than a centimetre up there. So I need to pull it down a little bit. But I'm actually liking that, how that's working. Before I do anything more with this, what I'm going to do is choose a plant pot out of this page and fussy cut it. And I'm just looking at them to see what will fit. The pots are all light cream, which works in well with this, I think, so long as it doesn't get too lost. The ones that I originally thought I might use, which was this one and this one, are going to be too big. This one is lending itself to me now, and this one. So I'm going to fussy cut those two out and have a look and see which ones I want to use. So I'm going to get rid of the bottom portion of this. Pop that back in there. Could have it sticking out like that, which works quite nicely. I've cut out these two plant pots. I'm just going to have a look and see if I want that tucked under there like that. I think that works better. I've had a little play with this one and this is the composition that I like. Using the feather is forcing it too much, I've decided, because if I put that up there in her hand, the eye is dominated by that. And if I drop it down here and tuck it in behind the pot plants, then it doesn't really work with that 0 there. It obstructs everything. So I'm going to take that out and rely on my 0 as being something that you find in a school bag. And I am liking this piece, strangely enough, down at the bottom here, but I don't have anything that's torn on my page. This piece here, even though I tore it, I don't want to double up those prompts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear across the bottom of this one. I'm also going to take just a smidgen off the top of this and a smidgen off the side of my 0. So I'm going to go away and do that now. The reason I'm taking it off the top here is because I don't want to lose this shoreline down here, and I think that I can almost use the tree line here as a natural break and just reduce the height a little. So let's see how that looks. And I'm going to take another little smidgen off this left hand side. There was a silver trunk coming down that side. If I put this on here, you can probably see it. There was a silver trunk coming down there, and by taking that smidgen away, it softens that edge, and you notice the colours more than the actual tree. And now what I need to do is just rip along the bottom here so that I've got a torn piece. Now that I've ripped everything and trimmed everything, let's put it back together and see if I like how it looks. So this can sit up there more central now than it was before. I might need to trim off more from the sides on this one now, just so that it staggers in slightly. That was going to go underneath here. This was going to go on here. There is a dotted line along the bottom of the label, and I'm trying to line that up with shoreline. Just feels like I need to do that. I'm not sure why, but I just feel like I need to. I do need to drop it down more, so let's try and do that without everything moving too much. My 0 I was going to have tucked in here, and then I'm using my pot plants to soften this corner down here. So one on there like that, just drop down a little bit on this side. So I'm liking how this looks now that I've got my pieces almost in the right position. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this now. So there we go. So I'm going to have my plants. This taller plant pot needs to be grounded a little bit. So I'm putting it on the wording. This one, I'm going to stagger underneath that leaf there and on top of that plant pot. So let's see how that looks. And as you can see, I've not glued down all my bits of foliage because I think it will give a nice look to have them lifted slightly. So I've just put some glue on the back of this, and I'm just going to centre it on my page like that. I do feel that I've got quite a bit going on in this corner down here, but I'm okay with that actually this time round. I think it's because the colours are soft and the main pop of colour is in the centre here, and this is my focal element, and then from the flowers around her the eye is drawn out, and that's what I'm hoping, and it's soft enough down here for my torn piece. I'm just wondering whether to make use of these, which I happily tore to bits. And I think it might be overkill. That little bit up there would work to balance it out. And again, I've got my diagonal working. That makes it too bottom heavy by having it down there. And that feels that it's just blobbed. And again, it's too bottom heavy. So if I'm going to put it anywhere, I would put it up there. I would reduce it in height. So let's just have a bit more of a play. I might go in and take another one of the dates away. I could have it down in that corner if I wanted to. The reason I'm liking it down the bottom is because it's masking that little area down there. It blends in down there quite nicely as well in terms of the colour tones. Commit to that. Let's have a look at a single date again. Sorry, I'm faffing today. I think the single date is more discreet up there. That works as well with another piece down there. Actually works quite nicely actually down there. Yep, I like that, so I'm going with that. And you know, I'm just going to pop it up there. I'm just going to go with it and do it. And there we go, everybody. I'm going to call that a finished piece for today. And quickly to go through the prompts. Something that you take on a picnic. Well, I've got my drinks label here, an image from a magazine. I've gone with this gorgeous autumnal lake scene that I've covered up completely, well, near as damn it. Text other than English or your native language. Well, I've got French book text underneath here. Something torn. Well, I tore the edge of this, and I've torn the edge of these dates, which I've got down here and up here. Something you place on your bookshelf. Well, we have plants on our bookshelf, as I said, so I've got a couple of plants there. Bonus, something found in a school bag. Well, I've gone for a numeral, and hopefully children in this day and age will have written numbers or numerals in their school bag for their maths lessons. So there we go, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Sorry I couldn't make use of this feather after all, but I enjoyed playing with this one and seeing if I could make all the pieces that I'd chosen work. And I'm actually quite liking that down there, but again, it's pulling everything down, making it look bottom heavy. So I think I need to leave that, and I'm happy with that sort of diagonal that I've got. That composition always seems to work for me and pleases my eyes, so that's why I always seem to go with it. So enough rambling from me. I'm going to rub out my border and then I'm going to post this to YouTube, and fingers crossed today that it will post okay and will be live later on today for you to have a look at. So until tomorrow and assignment number 4, take care everybody. Bye bye now.